The United States middle market delivered a very strong performance in the third quarter of 2018. Under pressure from a very tight labor market and rising tariffs and other costs, middle market companies nevertheless continue to lead the economy and say that they are approaching the months ahead with very high confidence. The National Center for the Middle Market tracks these companies' performance, the growth, plans, and challenges of the market that moves America. To check out the latest middle market indicator, go to this URL. I'm Tom Stewart, the Executive Director of the National Center for the Middle Market at The Ohio State University Fisher College of Business, with the latest numbers from the Middle Market Indicator for the third quarter of 2018. The Middle Market Indicator, the MMI, is a pulse check for companies with sales between $10 million and $1 billion a year. This is the middle market. This group of companies accounts for about a third of private sector GDP and employment. And the numbers I'm about to tell you about were collected in the first half of September 2018. Let's start with growth. In a word, the U.S. middle market is rocking. The annualized growth rate for these companies for the third quarter of 2018 is 8.6%. That's a full percentage point higher than the number we recorded last quarter, and it's the second highest annualized growth rate we've recorded in more than 7 years. Almost everybody is doing well. Just 5% of companies say that their performance deteriorated in the last year, while more than 14 times that number said business had improved. So business is strong, it's very strong. In terms of company size, we see almost no difference in growth rates. The band of companies with revenues between 10 million and 50 million did a little bit less well than the others, but it's not a big difference. In terms of industries, 3 industries lead the pack: healthcare, business services, and manufacturing. Wholesalers and retailers did less well. Those same 3 industries, healthcare, business services, and manufacturing, led the league in hiring too. Overall, job growth in the middle market leveled off a bit from the second quarter, but it stayed high at a 6.2% annual rate. We noted last quarter that middle market employment growth was too high relative to sales increases, and it is good that it has come back a little bit into line. Now, the slowdown in job growth is not surprising given how very tight the labor market is. As you know, U.S. unemployment is just 3.7%, which is the lowest it has been since 1968. That means fast-growing companies struggle to find the workers they need to do the work to support the growth. Indeed, many middle-market companies tell us that a shortage of talent is actually constraining their ability to grow. Nevertheless, over the last 12 months, mid-sized companies collectively increased their payroll, as I said, at 6.2%, and this marks the 8th quarter in a row in which middle market companies have added jobs at a faster than 5% rate. The bigger middle market companies, those with revenues between $100 million and $1 billion a year, are particularly hungry for talent, hiring at a rate about a third higher than that of the other 2 groups. Now, given all this, it's no wonder that middle market companies put talent tops on their list of long-term challenges. Last quarter, we saw that companies were significantly increasing their use of incentive comp bonuses to retain staff. That remains the case, but in the third quarter, we see something else, and something that should make workers happy. 48% of the middle market says that it's planning to raise pay to keep people, a number that is up from 38% a year ago. Looking ahead, there's a mixed picture. A year ago at this time, middle market companies predicted they'd grow at 6% in the upcoming 12 months. Now, their forecast is always conservative. As we saw, the growth they actually delivered was 8.6%, not the 6% they predicted. But this quarter, they're forecasting 5.3% growth, quite a bit lower than what they foresaw a year ago. Will they deliver similarly lower results? Obviously, we can't say. But looking ahead for just the next 3 months, we see a decline in the NCMM's short-term index. That index tracks demand, orders, and sentiment about the business climate for the quarter just ahead, an earlier period to predict. And it's down a fair amount from the last quarter, with drops in all three components of the short-term index. Now, we don't have to look far to find culprits. Two culprits, actually. The first is tariffs. By a 2-to-1 margin, executives say tariffs will be bad for their business. And those numbers were collected in early September, just before the U.S. and China added more than $250 billion worth of goods to be subject to these taxes. The MMI flagged the tariff issue a quarter ago. This quarter's data underscore the problem. It takes a while, 6 months or so, for the effect of tariffs to be felt in order books and pocketbooks, but that impact is starting to come, and it's not good. Tariffs are one element of an overall rising concern about costs. The rising cost of energy, healthcare, raw materials, transport, these too will pinch profit margins, executives say. And those bigger paychecks that we noted a minute ago are cost increases from an employer's point of view. And yet, I said it's a mixed picture. One very bright part of that picture is economic confidence, which is just about at its all-time high, whether that's confidence in the local economy, the U.S. economy, or the global economy. That confidence translates into a second very bright spot, which is robust investment plans. Even international investment plans are high despite tariffs. You know, every quarter we ask executives to tell us what they'd do if they had an extra dollar, whether they'd invest it or put it aside. In the third quarter of 2018, 71% said they would put it to work. They'd invest it. That's tied for the highest number we've seen, and it's the second quarter in a row that we've seen it. They'd invest that money first and foremost in plant and equipment and in IT. Those two are tied. They'd each get 15 cents of that investment dollar. The next two buckets are hiring and training and development, which would get 11 cents each. Now, usually middle market executives say they'd invest more in hiring than in training and development, but there's that tight labor market again. If you can't find the talent outside, you have to invest more to develop it inside. So, strong growth, strong orders, strong hiring, anxiety about the next few months, rising concerns about costs, and strong confidence about the future. That's the view from the middle market as of the third quarter of 2018. For more information about the middle market, visit our website. That's middlemarketcenter.org. There we post the entire middle market indicator, the data I've summarized here, the full report, and also the raw data behind this and previous MMIs. There's no cost. There you will find, in addition to the MMI, lots of other research from the center about such topics as mergers and acquisitions, managing talent, cybersecurity for middle market firms, and much, much more. That URL again is middlemarketcenter.org. For the National Center for the Middle Market, I'm Tom Stewart.